Friday. It's June 30th, 8:30. I'm in a rush now to get up to Stone Oak for this class that I have today. It wasn't a class that I really wanted to take. I had no interest in taking it. I really felt like I was probably going to be phased out of property management before it got to a point where this class would be applicable towards another designation. But a month ago we were really liked the space, and again, just from a creative standpoint, I felt like there was a lot of potential there, and I was seeing that potential, but it really wasn't conducive to what I was originally intending to do. So even when I was talking to the other agent, I was like, you know what? He's like, well, what exactly are you looking for? Is this, because I told him this is just bigger than what I need. I said, well, I said, let me kick it around for a couple of days, because I can develop a concept for any space. Those are my exact words. I just need to get in there and understand the location, the space itself, and I can come up with a concept that I think would work in there. And I was trying to be positive and stay in that creative mindset, and I didn't want to just disregard any kind of inspirations that came along. But it was kind of putting me in this conflicted spot, because it's not what I was there for. But and again, am I headed for a change of course here? And so I was a little conflicted, and that kind of went through the day. And then I had some property management stuff that brought me down, and then the next day I just didn't know what to do. Still considering this other location down on Broadway. Anyway, so I made that recording yesterday, and it was coming from really a spot of negativity. I was in a really bad spot, big low depression area as far as mindset. But what I was talking about is getting through that was extremely, I think, beneficial to me, and hopefully to somebody else. And it was beneficial to me because once I was done recording it, I actually felt better. There was an immediate change in my attitude and my emotional state. Everything changed once I was done. So it's therapeutic, it's cathartic, it's just beneficial for me to talk about these things. And I was like, how do I code this as I was processing that and trying to title it, put away? Because normally if it's something just mundane, or just me talking through something and not anything specifically powerful, then I just put my standard status in the title with the date, and that's just how it's coded. It's an update, status update. About a year ago, I started using this status plus coding. If it was something that I felt had more to offer, had more value, had more emotion, had something very positive in it that I felt could benefit somebody, and I just didn't know where to put this one, because it was one of those moments of weakness, which I'm not really trying to draw much attention to, but I think it's good for context. But I had a lot of verbalization of what I was doing to try and get past it, and how I got there to begin with. And so I came up with this plus minus now. So I don't know how many more times I'll use that, if I'll ever use it again. But anyway, that's yesterday's video. Once I got home and started processing it, which was a task, because of just the size of that, it took me a while to get it processed, and I was having a lot of issues with storage on my computer. So something has sucked up a lot of the storage on my Surface Book, and all the files are clear. I haven't stored anything else on there. The videos take up the most space, and I basically stripped them down. I got rid of all the fragments. I got rid of everything that's already been uploaded to YouTube. I transferred over to the external hard drive to clear up space, and still the storage capacity is still being occupied by something, and I don't know what it is. So I'm going to have to look into that a little bit further. But it took me a lot longer to process that video, and anyway, I got it processed. It's got saved away, and it's marked status plus minus. So anyway, so I got through midday yesterday. I got through that recording, and I was feeling a little bit better after that. And then I made a status update recording in the afternoon, because I had shifted everything after lunch and after working on trying to free my mind up. I actually felt clarity. I felt better, and I wanted to make sure that was noted, that I was able to successfully kind of rebound, and I made that big difference in how I was feeling life. So important to me. But after I made that second recording, I was thinking about the locations. I was thinking about the concept that I have for this new experimental restaurant, and the idea of some kind of a coffee shop that Rhonda would like to do, and how I was mixing them together. And I was thinking about that first space I looked at and my feelings when I was in there, and then how that led me to this other location down on Broadway, which I was considering. And I mapped it and looked at it from the satellite images, and I like the location, I like where it's at, I like the dynamics of it. I haven't seen the inside of that building. I don't even know if it's available. But anyway, but it kind of brought back that mindset of, all right, well, you just never know. When you're pursuing a path, you feel drawn to something, and you pursue it, you move forward on it, and then anything that says any of these are reserved, so I guess I'm going to park here. Anyway, so it's the concept of pursuing inspiration, intuition. I was really drawn to that building, and then that led me to the possibility of another building, which could potentially be more suited to what I was looking to do. Now, while we were there and we were talking and looking at that Chase building there on Military, he was pointing out the strip mall behind us, which the same owner owns, and how many spaces are available in there, and was talking about what's available and how many square feet they are, and some of the improvements they're making to that. And he pointed out one unit, and I really had no interest in it, but I was curious because it was a smaller space, which was more to the size that I was really looking for the first time around. And we walked over there and we walked through it. It had a terrible smell in there. I don't know what was going on. It was just a plain vacant space, had one bathroom, I just didn't see a lot of potential there. There wasn't a lot of use characteristics that I thought were applicable to what I was trying to do, whereas the Chase building had everything that I could possibly want, and then some, and quite a bit more, which was going to cost more. So I'm looking at that spot, and then right next door there's this there's quite a bit of space next to it, blacktop space, parking lot space. There's no marked parking on that side, but there's a lot of space there. And then there's this car wash, this old car wash. It's like this 6-bay car wash that's had everything ripped out, and it's just a shell. It's just the stalls and a roof. And then there's some covered parking in the back. It's got a huge area, blacktop area in the back. And I was asking, about the space. And then there's more parking on the other side. There's just a lot of area there. And I was thinking about what it was going to cost to get something up and running. And I'm like, especially yesterday, because what I was really locked into yesterday was, and what was causing me the problem, the conflict, was I just want to be done with property management. I just want to walk away from it. It's causing me too much stress, too much anxiety. I came across that post yesterday, and I talked about it in my afternoon thing, that if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. And I needed to see that yesterday. I mean, it was perfect timing. And but I was like, all right, well, how am I going to support myself? How am I going to generate income? And if I start trying to develop a project that's as grand as the one I was considering with that Chase building, as fantastic as I think it would be once it was done, it's going to take time, and it's going to take money that I don't have right now, that I would have to find, acquire, and then how am I going to support myself in the interim? What am I going to do? So I was like, all right, what can I do? And I've back several months back, I was like, you know what, if it came right down to it and I needed to, I could walk in, rent a small space, and start operating and start generating some income. Or I could get a food truck, something like that, something that I know that I have the resources right now to make happen right now. And I was trying to whittle it all back to a concept that was a starting point that was feasible, that if I walked into the office today and said, you know what, this isn't working for me, I have to be done, that I could start something and potentially be earning some income off of it within a few weeks. And just like a ton of bricks, this whole thing hit me. Got this, because I had looked into doing the food truck thing before. You have to have a commissary. There's 7 commissaries in San Antonio that you have to register with your food truck, and you have to go there. Anytime you're operating, you have to show up, sign in the morning. That's where you're supposed to load and prep your vehicle, and then take it out, do whatever you're going to do, and then you're supposed to return when you're done for loading and unloading. And they track all that. And there's 7 places, and I didn't like any of the locations. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to create my own. And I had kind of looked around at spots and was like, all right, well, something could be done there. I could do something here, just casually kind of keeping my mind on that. And all of a sudden this hit me yesterday. I'm like, I could do that right there. There's 2 bars right next door that are open till 2 a.m. Neither of them serve food. From what I got, they get a pretty good business. There may be food trucks servicing those kind of places in the evenings anyway, but if I could convert that stall, that one we looked at, the one that had no appeal to me whatsoever, into a kitchen, strip it down, turn it into a kitchen, and get it registered with the city as a commissary, I've got all that covered area right next to it. That is a requirement to be a licensed commissary for food trucks. You have to be able to load in a covered area, and it was perfect. Just everything about it seemed perfect. And all of a sudden, this new idea came about, which was kind of a hybrid of every other thing that I had thought about. And I was on fire at 4 o'clock yesterday, and I was like, I need to go back over there. I need to look at that, because I didn't pay attention when I was there. I saw everything. I saw the building. I saw the location. I saw the proximity of all the other buildings. I saw the space, but I didn't retain it, didn't pay attention. So I was like, I need to go back over there and see if what I remember is exactly right, and see if this is actually something that could work. And it took me, I was rocking and edgy, and I was just like, I counting the minutes down until 5 o'clock, and we jumped in the car to leave, and first thing I did is drove over there and took Rhonda, and I kind of explained what I was thinking and how it would work, and she's like, I like that, I really like that. And I liked the response I got from her. I liked her enthusiasm, that what she was contributing as far as ideas that went along with it, and I liked the potential of it. I liked the financial feasibility of it. It's something that I could do. I was told, I know that the owner of that building is willing to work with people and work with ideas, as long as he's going to benefit from it, which I think that is very conducive to what I'm trying to do. So I was excited, really excited, and everything else just fell away, all the other bullshit, and I went home on fire, and we went to the Y, got in a good workout. I haven't worked out like that weight-wise since the last time I was at the Y, months ago. I've been lifting at home, but not, to that extent and to that kind of weight capacity. So I felt strong. I felt good. I went and had a good steam afterwards. Went home and was fired up, and I went to bed feeling good. And I got up this morning and I felt passionate about life, and just just fired up. I was driving to work and I was like, I miss this feeling. This is how I felt for months after we moved here, after we took the risk and jumped in the car and packed up the kids and relocated to Texas with no money in the bank, no possessions, no real plan of what we're going to do other than we'll figure something out. And 6 years later, I'm here. I'm doing what I'm doing now, and I've been building this base for something that is going to be majestic, and it's a good feeling. And it's been a while since I got in the car and was driving to work and felt fired up. And I wasn't fired up because I was going to the office. I wasn't fired up because I was coming to this class. I was fired up for the possibilities, which basically made all those other things null, even though they do nothing for me. So I'm excited, and it brought me right back to this same thing I was talking about when I started recording, that sometimes the path that you're on takes a turn. Just always be conscious of those variations, those opportunities that present themselves that may not have been in your original plan. So I started this whole thing this week with being drawn to a particular building, then went through kind of a down cycle when I realized that the building wasn't really going to fit, which kind of contradicted why I was so fired up about it. And you feel confused because you're like drawn to it, and you find out this isn't really going to help me. What do I do now? Why was I drawn to this? I mean, what was the reason? Well, I was given 2 new potential locations from that meeting. If I hadn't been drawn to that building, hadn't contacted that agent, haven't met with that agent, and had him tell me about some other things in different locations, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So, and I have no idea where it's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen with it. And it just is a reminder that don't try to set the future details in stone and adhere to those, because you don't know what those future details are. You have a mindset, you have a desire, you have an understanding and an intuition of what it is you want. You have a visualization of the success in reaching that, and then you just don't know how the path's going to get you there and what those details are going to be. So just follow your intuitions. Approach situations that you're drawn to, and then see where they lead you, and don't try to dictate how that unfolds. So anyway, it's 5 till. I need to get in and learn something.